What's up guys, Coop here, and today I got another build video for you guys. So, I've been constantly thinking as I play Divinity Original Sin 2, how can I build a Necromancer, a Conjurer of the undead? And I finally found a way to make it work. So this is my Necromancer build. This is a early game build. Of course later on you're going to be getting a lot more crazy spells, but this build is very nice and has a lot of flavor on it that you can easily use to make your party overall better. So, how do you start with building a Necromancer? Well, the first thing is we gotta look at race. I was trying so hard to make an undead Necromancer work, and the racials just don't help out enough for what I am looking for. So I went to the origin character of, I believe you pronounce it Lohse, I don't know. In the comments below, tell me please how to pronounce this girl's name, because I really want to pronounce it right. But she had the best racials overall for what I was trying to go for. She has the demon within her, and I just felt like that was good flavor text for why she would be a Necromancer. But let's actually look at her racials, because her racials were very important for why I chose her. Her racials are Inspire, or otherwise known as Encourage, which basically increases their primary attributes of your allies. And this is very good to have because your summons will actually get stronger as well, which just is another way of beefing it up. Fits with the theme. And then the next thing is Maddening Song. Maddening Song is your sort of get out of free jail card. If the going gets tough, if you have a bunch of enemies wailing on you and you really need to escape because you don't want to die because you want your summons to stay alive and to keep summoning, use Maddening Song and you run away. Very nice one to have in general. The next one is Indigenous. Indigenous is important because it gives you initiative and that 5% crit. 5% crit is less important, but the 2 bonus to initiative is very important because as a conjurer you need to have setup. Setup is very important for this type of class, and having this setup is just overall what you need to do. Being able to set up totems before your enemies, being able to look at the environment and being like, okay, combat has started, there's a pool of blood right there, or there's fire over here, let's spawn a totem. Very nice to have. Thrifty is nice because it just gives you +1 to bartering, however not required in the slightest. I chose a Conjurer. It really doesn't matter though, weapons no longer are what you start with in the early parts of the game. They do help with the RNG maybe, but it really doesn't help that much, so you can really kind of pick whatever weapons to look at, but it doesn't really matter anymore. Next, let's look at attributes. Attributes are important because a lot of people try to put different stats in different places, but you in general want to follow the guidelines of this throughout the entire experience. You want to put points into intelligence, and the reason that you're putting points into intelligence is to increase your spells that you're going to be casting as your character. This does not help out with your summons though. A lot of people I've seen have been dumping points into an intelligence thinking that it makes their summons stronger. Summoning actually does not get affected by this, but the intelligence does help out with certain spells like the mosquito swarm, which I'll be showing you guys later on. The real point of the matter is, as a summoner you need to focus on Constitution. Constitution is important because it gives you more life, which allows you to summon more creatures over the time of the battle, because your summons don't last forever. They're actually very temporary, and constantly setting those up and constantly being alive to have that constant damage is important. And I know I said constant a lot, but the point of the matter still stands. Next is your abilities. You're obviously going to put one into Necromancer and Summoner. Now, some people in the comments are going to be saying, well, why not just put all your points into summoning, make your summons really strong? The point is, the Necromancer gives you heals, which for your damage, which keeps you alive, and the summons are already getting strong, but also there are spells later on in the game, such as Totems of the Necromancer and Raise Bone Widow, which also are summon-based abilities that are in a totally different ability tree. You get those later on, but those will go with the Necromancer kit. And they actually scale based off of summoning level. So it's important that you get that sort of Necromancer early so that you can build on that later. I know it's a lot to take in, but later game, you're going to probably want to have 5 or 6 Necromancer, and then you're going to be increasing your summons a crap ton to make your summons just ungodly good. And then I put a last point into Lore Master just because I like to determine what weapons are when I kill like a boss or something. Not required though, you can really put this in whatever you want. You can put it into bartering, so that way you have a +2 in bartering. It's all up to you, honestly. The next thing is I like to build with my Necromancer is obviously raising the corpse. Raising a corpse is pretty nice, but you can't have that with the Incarnate, because I know a lot of you guys would be like, well, oh, just get Totems and get the corpse and the Incarnate. Sadly, you can't have a corpse and an Incarnate at the same time. I find the corpse better for early game because it has an explode ability that basically explodes and there's just blood everywhere. And the cool thing about blood is you can use it to do shocks and changing it to poison very, very easily, which just helps you out so much. Especially my other build of my Death Knight that I recently released. It makes such a good combo with that. So that's why I chose Corpse. Now keep in mind, as a party, you should be always focusing on one target and killing it as soon as possible. Don't hit all the different targets. A lot of people try to do that, and while it is good, unless you're using the environment to kill them all at the same time, I would highly suggest just focusing and killing one target. And the second that happens, use that corpse, and you can keep reanimating that corpse over and over and over again to just make this blood bomb pretty much, which is sexy when I show you it in gameplay. Next is Mosquito Swarm, which just gives you a nice little heal, and it also bases its damage off of intelligence, which is why we're putting points into intelligence to increase that, to increase the heal as well, because as you can see, depending on the damage we deal, it will restore up to a certain amount of vitality. And the next thing is Elemental Totems. Elemental Totems is just kind of a default pick, because Elemental Totems actually determine based off of the environment that you spawn them on. So you're going to be spawning a lot of blood, so it's important that you can spawn them on that and add more blood everywhere. You can spawn it with sort of any shock-based totems. It's just really, really good combos in general with the Elemental Totem. And you can spawn, I tested it, you can spawn up to 4 of them very easily. Just keep in mind that they do have lifespan. They don't last forever, and they don't last all of combat. They do have a temporary duration of up to 3 turns. But I have been managing to sometimes get up to 4, and that was crazy. But don't count on that. Count on most of the time having 3 or 2. And that's basically the skills that you're going to pick. Next, let's look at the talents. You do not want Pet Pal. You actually want to get Far Out Man. The reason that you're going to be getting Far Out Man is you want to be able to have high reach for your heal and for raising, and for also you want to have full range of the battlefield and be able to summon a elemental totem on anything with an environment that is different than the one that you're standing on. So if you are fighting fire slugs, you want to be able to cast a rain spell and put that elemental totem on a rain spot. It's just nice having full range of the battlefield and being able to spawn what is needed at the time based on the environment around you. And that's basically how you do that. Now let's dive in and actually do some gameplay. Alright, so let's dive into some actual gameplay here. First things first, we need to do our setup, so we're setting up a bunch of totems in different spots. Next thing is I'm going to set up another totem over here so we can hit her from kind of both sides. So if she were to destroy one totem, we'd at least have another totem to hit for a couple of turns, and then we'll hit her again. So now we got our combat going on here. I'm going to summon up another totem. Keep in mind that these only last for 3 turns, and then we are going to give the Encourage build to buff up their stats. So we have 3 up, and which is really nice, and then we're going to run around the corner. If she were a melee based character, she would chase, but obviously she's a mage, so she's still just going to keep hitting me. That's okay though. That is fine by us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Mosquito Strike, or Mosquito Swarm, just to get some nice heals, because I was getting hit pretty hard there. And then I'm going to summon another one, which is going to be a Blood Totem, which is basically going to hit her and make her bleed. So, now we have that officially done. Sadly, nothing on the corpse, but that's okay. We're going to summon her, and then we will go up in here, and then I will summon that. And I will wait one turn to initiate combat. Do that. So we have all of our nice little stuff here. I'm going to summon another totem here. And then we'll buff up all of our allies. And we don't need to summon a corpse, and we will just kind of walk away just to give us as much room as possible, which is why we have all that constitution. So as you can see, they're running to come get me, but I have all my different things here. Let's just have this guy slowly move back here. Still not what I want. I want him to be right here, out of the range of everybody else. Explode. He deals massive amounts of damage, destroying most of their shields, which is awesome for us. Ranger has to come around the corner. He can't quite reach me. That's cool by me. I'm able to summon another undead, and then I am able to summon another totem, which I'll summon in the blood. And then I will continuously try to run away, allowing me more time for a setup in the future. I'm going to make this guy run on over in here, and then make him explode, hitting these guys for massive amounts of damage. He's now at 17 life. Really good for us. We have now just officially taken our first hit. She's building up her shields again, and she's coming over here to deal some justice to us. But that is fine by me. We have all these nice little totems to slightly hit all these characters. Now, next thing is I need to definitely heal up. So we're going to definitely heal. We're going to move away. Still moving away. Building up another totem right here that they could possibly focus on. Still hitting me for a little bit of damage. I'm surprised this thing isn't actually able to hit. Doesn't quite make sense to me how it's not able to hit. Next is we are going to use Mosquito Swarm on you, just to get rid of some damage that's on me. And then we'll summon another totem. So now we have all these different totems, and they're all dying and leaving blood trails and all that. Keep in mind, if you had a contamination spell, this would all be poison. Like, everything here would be poison. You'd have a whole room for undead to run around and have fun. Okay. So we are really getting low on health here, but I will summon another thing here. I can actually throw some fire over here, dealing some damage to her, and we can actually move away because she doesn't have attack of opportunity. And then, with this person's health so low, you can actually go over here and explode, dealing a nice amount of damage to her. She'll have to put shields up ability. And then from there, all of our totems can deal damage to her. Again, we're going to be setting up now a fire one. And we're going to continuously try to run away. This is why you need Constitution. It's really not so much about you fighting, it's more about them fighting. I don't know why that totem wasn't actually able to hit. That doesn't actually make much sense. But we'll summon another totem regardless. And we will actually continuously try to run away. And there we go. That's sort of the setup. It was a little clutch, a little tight, but look at all these massive amounts of blood everywhere. Just imagine that with a contamination spell. Ugh, The potential is endless with the Necromancer, and keep in mind that it only gets better from here on out. Later on, you're going to be getting Totems of the Necromancer, and you're also going to be getting these different summons and different undead creatures along the way. But I really hope you guys like the build. I think this is a really clever build in general because look, it just fits the theme so well. In the comments below, tell me what you guys think. I just wanted to show you guys some gameplay and some overall early impressions of my Necromancer build. I'm also going to be doing a stream probably sometime tomorrow, hopefully, but more word on that in the future. But like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.